Welcome to Halcyon, where impact-driven business entrepreneurs have found a haven where their world-changing ideas are recognized and nourished. Each year, dozens of entrepreneurs come to Halcyon's headquarters in Washington, D.C., and through a range of fellowship programs receive housing, mentorship, training, and financial support without giving up equity in their business. Today, you will hear pitches from Girl Ventures and Halcyon Intensive, a nationwide cohort of Black and Brown women identifying entrepreneurs. This program began earlier this year, but this past week has brought members of the cohort from California, Texas, Georgia, Massachusetts, New York, and even right here in Washington, D.C., for their residency at Halcyon, a time to connect, reflect, learn, and prepare for this moment, a final showcase that serves as the culminating moment for the program.
Good evening. My name is Byron Barnes. I'm a Senior Vice President with Bank of America, and welcome to this evening's Girl Ventures Halcyon Pitch Competition. We're excited about this event because it really is a culmination of ideas that were formed last summer. Last summer, when we were reeling from the effects of the pandemic and many Black and Brown-owned businesses were on a precipitous decline because of those challenges that this global pandemic brought us. And we thought, as a bank, where can we invest our time and our resources to help reverse this trend? And Girl Ventures, with its commitment to Black women-owned businesses and Brown-owned women-owned businesses, along with Halcyon's commitment to ensuring social impact entrepreneurs throughout the globe have the support they need to scale their ideas, we thought we had a great partnership. And so this evening, we have entrepreneurs who've gone through a program that has focused on capacity building, providing them with resources, and also with capital in order to scale their ideas. So I'm excited to participate in this event tonight. Also want to highlight Bank of America's commitment to ensuring that there are equal opportunities economically for all communities. Last summer, the bank committed over $1 billion, which has grown significantly in number, toward communities of color and women, and ensuring that entrepreneurs and those who want to grow and expand the economic opportunities in their communities have access to capital, to resources, and to partners like us. And many of our peers have followed suit since. This evening, I want to say thank you to all the entrepreneurs who've poured their hearts and their souls into their ideas and have fully participated in this program over the past several months. They're going to do an amazing job and you'll enjoy this. Thank you for tuning in and for voting for your choice this evening. Enjoy the program.
Today we are excited to announce the first ever Girl Ventures Halcyon Showcase. It's sponsored by Bank of America. You will see 9 months of culminating work from our founders. We're gonna mix a little bit of a Halcyon demo day with the Girl Ventures style of pitch competition. The BGV style of competition mixes Shark Tank and Kickstarter to bring you a unique way of delivering access to capital for founders. Women will pitch their business, and you as the audience can actually donate to vote for the founder that you like best, and we will grant that capital back out to that founder. You can vote for your favorite founder at www.raisify.co. That's RAISIFY.co. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everyone. I'm sitting on the Halcyon pitch stage, where every year dozens of entrepreneurs pitch their ventures and tell our community how they plan to change the world. Countless partnerships, investments, and other powerful connections have started right here in this spot, because all founders know, as an entrepreneur, the pitch can be the game-changing moment. I'm joined by two amazing judges, Shelley Bell and Byron Barnes, who together with me are here to act as champions for these fellows. If we do our jobs right, our purpose is twofold. First, to ask questions that audience members will have on their minds after hearing these pitches. And the second is to help these founders figure out how they're going to move their ventures forward. For those of you who have been to a Halcyon showcase, you may notice that today's already feels a little different. That's because it's modeled after the Black Girl Ventures style of pitch competition. So before we go on, we will hear a little bit more from Maria, who will tell us the history of this pitch style. Maria?
The inspiration for the Black Girl Ventures crowd-funded pitch competition actually comes from Black history. In the early 1900s, during the Great Migration, white landowners raised the rent, and Black people threw parties called rent parties, where admission fees helped people stay in their homes. These were not just any parties. You had cultural icons like Langston Hughes, Fats Waller, and Duke Ellington in attendance. Now, here we are, leveraging the same power of community to provide access to Black and brown women identifying founders. Tonight, you will watch 10 amazing women from all across the country pitch their business. Each participant has 3 minutes to pitch and a 2-minute Q&A from the judges. However, the judges do not decide the winner. You have the power to vote with your dollars at raisify.co. That's RAISIFY.co.
To vote, visit residency.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Now, we're going to get started, but before we do, I want to hear from our judges what they're most excited about this evening. Byron, let's start with you. What are you most excited about?
Sure, thank you. I'm really excited to just be here. I helped to participate in the original selection of this cohort, and so to be here at the end, to be here during the showcase is exciting for me. So I look forward to seeing what they've learned during this capacity building experience and seeing what their vision for their businesses are.
We're so happy to have you, Byron. Thank you.
Great
Shelley, what about you? This is your thing. So I'm really excited to be on this stage with you. Tell me what you're excited about.
Yeah, I'm excited about customer traction. I think it's the best kind of capital is a customer. So to see you be able to grow in your market is what I'm most excited about. And at Black Girl Ventures, we really pride ourselves on being able to help you grow community and get access to more customers as a way of getting capital.
I couldn't agree more. I personally am excited as well because, like you, Byron, I was on the selections committee and saw how these amazing women pitch and what their ideas were at the time. So I'm looking for growth and evolution, and really excited to see what's coming next, how they're gonna grow this thing and scale.
So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. We will welcome our first amazing fellow, Omalara Fertigan, who is the CEO and founder of Thrive. Omalara?
Hi, I'm Omalara, and my single, poor, Black immigrant mom sent both of her kids to Harvard College. How did this happen? A budget decision. So my mom worked for a university that made the decision to offer free college to their employees. This allowed mom to go to school at night, become a pharmacist, and transition us out of poverty. The extra money she had, she sent my brother and me to better schools, which changed our lives forever. But we're the lucky ones. 84% of kids born in poverty will live in poverty for the rest of their lives. And we know that these are disproportionately Black and brown children. How do we stop this? Just like in my own family story, the answer lies in budget decisions, but at the government level. State and local governments spend $3 trillion a year, but due to systemic racism, they spend more on school police officers than school social workers, more on foster care than in prenatal interventions. So at Thrive, we build software that identifies systemic racism in government spending. We've compiled everything known about how to combat poverty, from BIPOC-created interventions to evidence-based programs. And then we rolled all of that into an index, and then we compare the index to what the government is actually spending money on. Agency by agency. We've developed audits for schools, parks and rec, human services, police, and we've gotten tons of national press coverage and traction. Since January, 12 jurisdictions in 10 states have inquired about our software, and GovTech is highly lucrative. We price our audits at $50K to $250K per audit. So for anyone who's shy about B2G businesses, let's take another look. $3 trillion spent per year, $400 billion on contractors. There are billions of dollars on the table, so we can easily see our way to becoming a $250 million business. But what I am really excited about is political will. In 30 states, racism has been declared a public health crisis. That means with our highly scalable solution, we have the ability to impact 38 million Americans living in poverty. But we need your help. We're raising $260K to build out our sales team and continue refining our product. This is the current team. I am the impact evaluator who knows what works. Phil is our MBA MPP from Harvard who covers operations, and Evan built the app. And together, we are making sure state and local governments make better spending decisions so that my family story isn't the exception, but the rule. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
That was amazing. And we hear from our audience. That was exceptional. We're so excited. Shelly, let's start with you. What question do you have for Omalara?
Awesome presentation. I'm curious about, a lot of times the question is like, do governments want to change, and do they open up for the opportunities to be studied? So how do you go about the sales part of what you do? Like, what is your sales strategy and what is your scale strategy?
That is a great question. So our go-to-market strategy involves going to chief equity officers. These are newly hired positions, dozens of them in each state. And their whole job is to review government policies, and some of them, wait for it, have to conduct equity audits. And so there, our low-lying fruit will work with the chief equity officers first, and what we've found is that they introduce us to agencies that they believe will need their audits to help them complete their jobs.
That's awesome. What about you, Byron? Question for Omalara?
Absolutely. So loved your presentation and love the idea. When you think about all the states and local governments that could use this service, and I'm thinking about just the scalability of your idea. You mentioned you could see the business getting to 250 million in revenue. When do you see that as a time period of getting there?
Yeah.
And also when you think about all the state and local governments, What do you think is your actual addressable market in terms of those that have that, equity officer?
Absolutely. So in terms of our timeline, we're really looking at a 3 to 5 year period. We're going to start off doing 4 equity audits per quarter and gradually build to about 20. In terms of what's ready to go, public school districts, believe it or not, have a mandate. And so there are state level RFPs to basically get equity audits done. So we're looking at public school districts and certain child welfare agencies in particular. And we think that we can really get our process down in a repeatable way with the districts and then branch out once we have proven how awesome and amazing and impactful this is for Black and brown communities.
That is all the time we have for questions, Omalara. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. This
Thank
has been
you.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps the Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Up next, we have Simone Gates, CEO and founder of Sincerely Bade.
Hello everyone, my name is Simone Gates and I'm the founder of Sincerely Bade, where we craft products that aid in physical pain while also reducing the economic hardship in Harlem. From a young age, I've always suffered from chronic injuries. It affected my ability to move, sleep, and work, and I'm not alone. Over 60 million people a year are affected by chronic pain. That's more than heart disease, cancer, and diabetes combined. Women are predominantly the ones that most suffer from chronic ailments. Yet despite this, there are a lack of safe and effective solutions. I formulated that solution. Our products, such as creams, massage candles, and oils, aid in natural recovery. Everything is handcrafted, and ingredients are domestically sourced while also being thoroughly tested for toxins. For people who have serious and chronic diseases, it is incredibly crucial and mindful of what they're putting on their bodies. 60% of what we rub into our skin is absorbed into our bloodstream, which is why we've been so effective with retention, because our customers know that we put a high level on transparency and a focus on safety. Our perfect customers are women, heads of their households, 43 to 57 years old, and are conscious consumers looking and seeking for natural alternatives. We've noticed that people are putting self-care above all else, especially within the last year. We saw a spike in sales as people's physical and emotional stress increase, which is why we've been able to achieve 265% year-over-year growth within a $4.5 trillion industry. To date, we've achieved $400,000 in total sales with an 80% in customer retention. On average, our range of profit is 72 to 87%, and our average spend per subscriber is $1,000 per year. 12 months ago, we launched wholesale partners such as Uncommon Goods, ringing in $20,000 in purchase orders, and we've recently expanded into B2B, partnering with Nike, Chase, and South by Southwest. Have you ever been to Harlem? It is the Black Mecca of Manhattan. You can find everything in Harlem, but what you can't find are opportunities to upskill. This fall, we're super excited to be launching a learning lab where youth and adults will be able to come in and earn extra income, learn a new skill, while also learning the inner workings of a small business. This will provide an increase of 150% of production, $80,000 in monthly sales, and within the next 2 years, we're hoping to launch 8 additional learning labs. Our ask today is $275,000 for fulfillment, production hire, as well as marketing initiatives. Thank you again for your time.
Amazing. I'm actually sitting here wondering, why don't I have your product in hand? So let's fix that right after this. Really quick question. It's a perfect world and you have the best possible distribution partner. Who is that? Think big box stores, boutique hotels. Like, where do you see yourself just being able to expand a little further than just subscription customers?
That's a great question. I think because it's so important for our story of being Harlem-based and produced, a perfect customer would be a Sephora. I feel that within the last couple of years, they have been very mindful in telling the story of not only the founder, but the story behind the brand. And I don't believe that this business is my baby. I believe that it's bigger than myself, and I do want to be able to share not only what we're doing in terms of upskilling, but how we're cultivating a new tradition of domestic production in Harlem.
That is beautiful. I look forward to purchase Sincerely Body in Sephora in the coming months, years ahead. Byron, what's exciting about Simone and her venture?
No, I love the idea, and I love the focus on the impact, right? And one thing that I wanted to see more of is where you see the business scaling, right? I saw the impact scaling, and then I saw the actual, what I really enjoyed, where the dollars are going that you're raising, the capital you're raising. Where do you see the business growing to, let's say, over the next 3 years or 5 years?
Okay, thank you for that question. So what we're really excited about is we have the opportunity to build the learning labs in community centers in Harlem. So as a beta, we're able to outfit it into our own production facility. I think this can be taken to other cities with a similar dynamic of needing to upscale their Black and brown community. And like I said, with increased partnerships, especially working with those who share the story behind the brand, I truly believe that we can scale in that capacity.
Great, thanks, Simone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shelley, question for Simone?
Yeah, you mentioned great job. You mentioned the transparency. Tell us a little bit about with that transparency in the Learning Lab. With the people in the Learning Lab, what all are they learning about wellness? Are they learning about the different elements? Like what are they learning about? And help me understand the transparency, the Learning Lab, and how all of that relates to scale.
Yes. So in addition to being in our facility, learning how to produce the products, I'm also an active wellness coach in the community. So they would still be learning about the importance of wellness. We would be having external wellness classes in addition to what they're doing within the production facility. In terms of transparency, we are very mindful of where we're sourcing our products. We really try to source from women-owned farms. And as I mentioned, our consumers, they automatically flip the label to see where our ingredients are coming from and what's inside the product. So maintaining, as we grow, all those test results that we go through for each and every one of our ingredients, making sure our customers continue to have access to that, and we're still keeping on par with our high quality position.
Thank you so much, Simone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps the Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Up next, we will welcome to the stage Bridget Jones, founder of Chisel.
Hey, everybody. So, hi, I'm Bridget, self-taught engineer, startup founder, invested in building wealth for marginalized businesses. So, I currently work in the wealth management industry right now. I have a thesis that if we remove the gender, race, and education of startup teams, that we can improve the portfolio returns of investors while at the same time increasing the number of marginalized founders that are receiving capital. So, introducing FinRoth. We are a financial security company that offers investment advisory services to make businesses stronger and automation to help investors close smarter deals. So our platform is completely free for businesses until they are investment ready. And investors really, really like our platform because there's no other product on the market that removes all the fluff and just shows the performance of businesses that align directly with their goals. So for startups, we offer project management. These are performance metrics and investor connections. For investors, we offer a turnkey solution for due diligence, deal flow data on startups as early as the ideation stage, and investment protection. We really want to mitigate and lower risk for investors. So, studies show that historical data of companies that are similar in our sizes will show that most of our users will be stuck in a freemium model. But ambitious founders that are really interested in raising capital are going to naturally look for services to help make their startup stronger. So we offer business financial planning as an add-on service in a revenue model. So because businesses are building their startups on our platform and they're accounting for costs, we're able to see their traction in real time. So there's good news. Phase 1 of research and development has been completed. And over the last 12 months, we have raised a little bit over $100,000, received a grant from Wells Fargo and sponsorships from Northwestern Mutual, SoftBank, and WeWork. So here's what we're saying. FinRoth has two main goals. We have a revenue goal and we also have a social impact goal. So for our revenue goal, these are the numbers right here on the screen. And for the social impact goal, we're really squarely interested in making sure that a majority of the financial plans we do are for marginalized founders. Now, because of our design, we know that we will be able to take market share from both the project management and also the deal flow management verticals respectively, but we are not a competitor in the space. We're actually a multi-industry disruptor. So right now, FinRoth is looking to raise $165,000 for product development and post-product enhancements. This is our amazing team here helping us build this out. And to support our mission of wealth management, you can reach out to me at the contact information on the screen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Bridget. Thank you so much. Let's hop over to you, Shelly. Quick question for Bridget.
Like, have you tested this? Like, how is this exactly going to take its place in the market? I think I get what you're doing. I'm not exactly sure how is it gonna take its place. Like, who is the customer exactly?
So I'm so happy that you asked that question. We actually have two types of customers. We have the startups as a customer, and we also have angel syndicates as another type of customer. So the way that we plan to onboard the startups and also be able to reach our social impact goals is we're starting with a Facebook group that I have of about 6,000 queer Black millennials. That's exactly where we're going to be pulling from in order to build out our customer base. And we have a nice relationship with some angel investors that are already willing and ready to join our platform to test this out.
Thank you. Thank you, Bridget. Byron?
And from just a revenue perspective, I saw the freemium, the subscription, and then the larger. It sounds like the payers on that platform are the investors. And as you scale, how big do you see this growing? Let's say maybe in the next few years.
Absolutely. So, as we are a young company here, we fully expect to be able to earn somewhere between the $3 to $5 million range in our first year, and we're going to scale up by about 65% year after year. We know that that's just based on historical data of SaaS platforms very similar to ours, and we can kind of justify that based off of our positioning in the marketplace.
Thanks so much, Bridget. Best of luck.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Bridget.
Thank you.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
We still have plenty more fellows to hear from. We will now hear from Candy Riddick, who is founder and CEO of Mindful Maroon. Candy, join us on stage.
60% of Americans have a chronic disease, and 40% have 2 or more. The average doctor visit is just 16 minutes. I've been rushed out, and so have all of my friends. And women, BIPOC, and LGBT folks are very likely to have a hostile, dismissive, or negative experience. When doctor visits are rushed, root problems go unresolved. Many Black people don't trust the doctor because of the history of medical racism, implicit bias, and the cozy relationship between doctors and drug makers. With the pandemic, interest in holistic health care has skyrocketed, yet there isn't an easy way to access holistic care. Hi, I'm Candy Riddick, founder and CEO of Mindful Maroon, a tech-enabled platform and community that connects people to radically inclusive, culturally competent, high-quality holistic health care. Right now, Medicare is paying for acupuncture, doulas are being covered by insurance companies, and 30% of Americans have already tried holistic health care. It's here to stay. So how does our platform work? We do the heavy lifting by carefully vetting yogis, farmers, holistic practitioners, and promoters of wellness events. Once they're onboarded, a seeker can go to our platform, put in their preferences, and we deliver personalized results. This is a breakout of the profile, at least pieces of it, and we have left no stone unturned. We have included different elements that competitors have omitted. We also offer direct messaging on our platform. So before booking a healer, you can actually have a conversation with them. We earn money in 5 different ways. Our core way is when we connect the healer with seeker. We get a 15% commission. Also, we get listing fees, money on subscriptions, our e-commerce store where you can buy that dope shirt, Black Healing Matters, and revenue with our wellness partners. We're piloting programming in Atlanta right now. Traction to date, we have a private beta launch with 200 signups, 75 people on the waiting list, and 3 exciting partnerships: a holistic wellness center, sustainability center, and a 300-member co-working space. This market is huge. It is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, and in America alone, there are 120,000+ BIPOC practitioners. We are blowing the competition out of the water, and this is because of all of the research we did beforehand. Our team is ready to bring holistic healthcare to the people. Our ask is $250,000 for product development, marketing, operations, and new hires. Please join us because people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Thank you.
Yes. Wow. So exciting, Candy. I have a question to start us off. I'm kind of going back into my corporate hat and thinking about the responsibility I had for our employee resource groups. Is that a market of interest to you? And if so, what are your plans to integrate that in your scaling?
Absolutely, and I'm so glad that you asked. We are planning on scaling by working with corporate ERGs, corporate wellness programs, as well as just different benefits providers. And we also see co-working spaces as a way to scale faster because members need to be healthy. It can't just be about work and productivity.
Great, so hopefully someone who's watching this is sitting in that seat and can reach out to you soonest. Byron, let's hop over to you. Question for Candy.
Candy, great presentation.
Thank you.
I love your idea. You talked about the size of the market globally and in the US and number of providers. In terms of scale, how do you see your business scaling with your offering and within this market, let's say over the next 3 to 5 years?
Great question. So some of our competitors who basically have been unable to scale, they're going after holistic providers one at a time. That's why it's critical that we work with corporations that share similar values as us. And one thing that I would add to your question is there are a number of professional associations. Every healing modality has a professional association. So for example, there's the Black Massage Therapy Association, the Latinx Herbalist Association. They have hundreds and thousands of members, and that's how we grow faster.
Great.
Thank you.
I like that.
Shelley?
I like that. You want to grow faster, go to the groups. Great presentation. There's a little bit of a learning curve here as well. So I think there is the market, but then there is the, how do you get more people to adapt, understanding this. So what does that make your customer acquisition cost? How much education will you have to do in order for them to actually sign up? And you could also answer that by giving me a little bit more about your funnel. Where do you meet them?
So we meet them at all types of wellness festivals. There are yoga events, meditation events. And the great thing about myself, yes, I have a corporate marketing background and over 20 years of experience, but I'm also a trauma-informed yogi, and I also have numerous wellness certifications. So I am my target market, so I know where to find them.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Candy. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll be excited to see what comes next for you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps the Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
All right, folks, up next we have Mandy Bowman, founder of Official Black Wall Street. Welcome, Mandy.
There we go. Hi everyone, my name is Mandy Bowman and I'm the founder and CEO of Official Black Wall Street. Growing up in Brooklyn, New York, it was super common to see Black-owned businesses on just about every corner. As a matter of fact, it was that representation that influenced me as a child to become one of the first entrepreneurs in my own family. Now, of course, this changed drastically with the rise of gentrification. And I remember watching as one Black-owned business after the next closed down in my neighborhood, many of them no longer able to keep up with the rising costs and big box competition that comes with gentrification. I learned that although African Americans launch businesses at a higher rate, we still face so many challenges and biases when it comes to launching, funding, and growing those businesses. I also learned that although we have a $1.3 trillion buying power, only 2% of that goes to Black-owned businesses. So it wasn't that we didn't have the means to support, we just didn't know where to put our efforts. Now, thankfully, I have a solution for y'all. I launched the Official Black Wall Street app to provide a hub for Black-owned businesses to thrive, and we do that in two different ways. One, by helping consumers like you and I find and support those Black-owned businesses, and two, by connecting those Black entrepreneurs to opportunities for growth that they may not have received otherwise through our strategic partnerships. Now, our subscription-based membership for business owners ranges from $8 per month to $89 per month. We also have small business advertising as well as sponsorship packages and corporate ads. Now, of course, we're not the only people in this space. However, when it comes to both our technology and what we offer Black business owners, we do have a very unique product. Now, our team is small, but we are mighty. Each of us has had experience with launching our own ventures, and we all have at least 7 years of experience in our given fields. Now, we've received so much traction in the past year alone. It's been so exciting. Our revenue has increased by 633%. We have close to 6,000 businesses listed in 10 different countries around the world, and over 1 million followers across social platforms. We've also been featured in some really cool publications over the past year alone. Now, due to our strategic partnership with global law firm Baker Botts, we've been able to provide $10 million in legal services to Black business owners over the next 3 years, which is major. We've also been able to circulate $1.7 million back into Black-owned businesses. We are currently raising $650,000, with $300K being allocated to app development, which will go into developing our next iteration, our marketplace for Black businesses. $250K to develop our core full-time team, and $100K for marketing. Given that marketing budget, we know that we can potentially reach 4,500 Black founders and see a potential profit of $400K. Thank you guys so much. As you guys can see, we are more than just a directory. We are literally making history across the country. And I love it for you guys to join us in making history as well.
Excellent. Wow, 10 countries already. That's yes. So big, amazing, congratulations.
Thank you.
What is the one immediate role that you really, really need to hire for to help you really just accelerate the plan that you have in place?
I think, so one of the roles that we're currently hiring for is a new technical lead. And I feel like that will, though we have a technical partner, that will definitely help us get to the next level. That and also a sales manager.
Does that technical person need to reside in country, or can the last year, what this pandemic, almost 18 months, what this pandemic has taught us is that, you know, time and space is relative. So are you open to looking outside, or do you need that person physically here?
No, everyone on our team works everywhere.
Great.
And I love that, yes.
Awesome. Shelley, question?
Yeah, we've had the honor of being a part of your journey and watching you grow. So it's just great to see where you are now. How many users do you have currently, and then how do you plan to grow those users?
So we currently have about 375,000 users. Right
yes! Now, kudos to you.
Thank you. We're in the process of working with local and national organizations like the Urban League, NAACP, and then grassroots organizations, because we know that they have Black business owners packed into their membership. So we're working with them to kind of get a piece of that as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And being the banker and the judge team, just curious in terms of, you know, current revenue profitability. You mentioned the investment will get you to $400,000 in profitability. and want to know by when. You see that. And then also just scaling the business further. What do you see your revenue looking like in the next couple of years?
That was, I foresee that that wasn't taking into account the app development. So we see that, or at least the 400K within 4 months, just because of our customer acquisition costs. And that doesn't take into account the e-commerce platform that we're creating, because then we'll have 2 different end users.
Wonderful. Okay. Thanks so much, Mandy. We're
Thank
excited
you.
to see what comes next.
Thank you.
Excellent.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
All right, we will now welcome to the stage Vernee Hines, founder and CEO of Upbrainery.
Thank you.
Welcome, Vernee.
Hello. So hey everyone, I'm Vernee Hines. I'm the co-founder and VP of Experiential Learning here at Upbrainery, an ed tech startup that is committed to educational equity. As a first-generation college student, I saw firsthand the issue that disenfranchised students face. 65% of students go into college without a clear plan. Believe it or not, 70% of college graduates wish they would have pursued a different degree. And the one college counselor to 500 student ratio makes it simply impossible for students to receive guidance. How are we gonna solve that? Enter Upbrainery, where we literally build better brains. So our solution is an AI-driven software and a 2-sided marketplace. Inside of our software, we have things like interactive gaming, gamified assessments, 3D modeling, and augmented reality, and that comes together to form this super solution that guides a student visually on their journey to success. Why is that helpful? That saves parents time, it saves parents money. It also allows teachers to no longer have to be that subject matter expert for every single learning style of their student. It allows admins at schools to provide an equitable, accessible, and efficient learning ecosystem. And how do we do that? Through tools like our journey visualization map, which shows a student from point A to point B what they need to do to hone their interests, hone their skills, to get ultimately to their goals. We do things like track students' learning styles, and that allows us to better match them with content providers and teachers on the app. And then BrainLab puts it all together and provides this roadmap from a student from point A to point Z. So in BrainLab, which we've affectionately coined our software, we have things such as a marketplace, tutor-student match, student-teacher matching, analytics, and so much more. On the roadmap for BrainLab, we're looking to see things like voice-to-speech recognition, post-secondary pathways, and so much more. So our revenue model, we have an omni-channel revenue model where we monetize in 3 key areas. We charge content providers, we charge enterprises, and we charge the parents a flat implementation fee. So as you can imagine, we've been working our butts off through the pandemic. We're a Halcyon fellow, a Google for Startups portfolio company, a Capital Factory portfolio company, which is the largest one of the largest tech accelerators in Texas, and I was just featured as a Forbes Next 1000 founder. So our market is huge. Of course, everyone's gonna say it's $1 billion market. We have about 74 million students under the age of 18. To address that, we're gonna charge those parents directly $5.99 a month, which will net us about $4.4 billion in revenue. My team is amazing. Across business, across education, I myself am a seasoned instructional designer with over 7 years in the instructional design space. We are seeking $1 million in funding. With that $1 million, we plan to reach milestones like 2,000 additional coaches and content providers, an additional 50 orgs, and $2 million in revenue. Thank you all for listening to me today, and I really hope you join me in building better brains.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Byron, let's jump in.
Thanks so much. I loved your presentation.
Thank you.
Interested in the monetization of the idea and the commercialization of the idea. So if you can maybe walk us through how you plan to engage with the customer base you talked about.
Yes.
And where you see your business scaling in terms of what it might look like in revenue over the next couple of years.
Absolutely. So far we have already reached our demographic of organization. Throughout COVID, we had to quickly pivot, and we learned that organizations needed us more than ever. So we've already done our product market fit, and we know that is going well. Secondly, we have already gone into the schools for a beta this summer with a summer school program, and we are currently, of course, making our changes and making sure that we can actually go into these classrooms and provide this resource in the classrooms. And currently we have 5,000 parents already on our app, an additional 15,000 parents and students that will be onboarded this fall. So we've kind of already dived into our 3 omni-channel revenue streams, and we're just ready to scale and grow.
And so the 3, the schools and those 500 parents are currently revenue generating?
Yes,
paying the
and the
$5.99
organizations
a month?
as well, yes.
Wow, so what is your current run rate in terms of revenue?
So far this year, we're at $250K in revenue, and we're hoping to reach $500K by the end of the year. And then with this $1 million raise, we're hoping to see about 18 additional months of runway.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I'm sure we're going to have some parents watching this, and
I
they're going to be
hope so.
looking up Brainery right away. Shelly, question?
Awesome.
Or
Great
comment?
presentation.
Thank you.
Great presentation. It sounds like when you presented, it sounds like we got everything, right? So I'm wondering, well, what do you need?
Yes. 1, we need to build awareness. We know this is needed. We need people to understand the severity of having these equity and access issues. I can tell you literally as a first-generation college student, the students and the people that are not standing beside me doing the same thing I'm doing is because they did not know. Their parents weren't aware. So awareness is the first step. We need every parent to understand just how imperative it is for your child to be able to receive these services. 2, we need schools to focus on those. And 3, we need organizations to truly realize they can provide this as a resource, whether it's through a benefits package in their HR department or going directly into their community. They can truly provide a Brainery as a resource. We don't have everything figured out, of course, and we would love to just bring on any advisors or people who would like to kind of see us help us scale and grow.
It sounds like you need some champions.
We do.
So if you could identify, a champion in a city, whether that's a role, or in a company or at a school, what would that look like? Who would that be?
Superintendents and school admins, so principals, assistant principals. Those are the people we need to champion us.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vernay.
To vote, visit Raisify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown woman in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
We're halfway through, it doesn't feel like it, and we could listen to so many more. We are going to welcome Elizabeth Gay, founder of IPADE.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Dawes Gay, and I'm the founder of IPADE. IPADE is a word from the West African Yoruba language that conveys a sense of gathering and coming together. We're a co-working space and community of support for Black, Indigenous, and women of color who are making transformational change for the good of our communities. I'm a social entrepreneur with more than a decade of experience advocating and working for women of color. And I've learned through my experience that it's important for those of us who are working for positive social change to have gathering spaces that are truly safe and where we can fully participate. But outside of our families and friendship circles, those spaces are few and far between. 99% of the women of color we surveyed said that having spaces just for people of color is important. But in DC,
there are no co-working spaces that specifically center women of color. EPOD A is here to change that. Our model is two-part. First, we provide safe space for women of color to connect and collaborate. And second, we provide programming that builds skills and power for social impact. Over the past year, we've raised over $45,000. American Express became our first major partner, and we were featured in Fast Company and Wired as a resource for women of color. We've had over 450 people register for our events. Our programming receives an average 5 out of 5 star rating, and just this past June, we launched our first in-person co-working pop-up. Our customers love what we're doing. A pop-up attendee says, "Thank you for creating such an incredibly unique and inspiring and affordable space for us to work, network, and be. This is what makes EPOD A different. Our culture is inspiring, inclusive, and centers our customers in everything that we do." Our members pay for co-working subscriptions, event tickets, merchandise, and venue rentals. Co-working is a billion-dollar industry in the US, and more than half of Americans will be working remotely by 2022. But working from home can make people feel isolated and disconnected, and it blurs the lines between personal and professional. And women of color who experience racism and discrimination in the workplace might seek the safety of a warm, inviting place to get stuff done and connect with people who share their lived experiences. EPOD A is that place. Despite competition from other co-working spaces, we're uniquely positioned to reach an underserved market because there's no one quite like us. There are over 100,000 professional women of color between the ages of 25 and 45 in the DC area. We're looking to fill our DC capacity at 750 members and achieve an annual revenue of $1.4 million. For phase one, we're raising $237,000, which will help us secure a dedicated space, hire BIPOC women to provide their expertise to help us grow, and spread the word far and wide so that folks who need us can find us. As we grow, we'll expand into a bigger space and into other cities with underserved markets. But we need your support to get there, so please be in touch, and thank you so much for your time. Great. Thank you, Elizabeth. Ready for some questions?
Yes.
All right, Shelly, let's hop over to you.
Have you thought, okay, this sounds like it's going to be the end of what you do, which is going to be your permanent space that's open and that kind of thing. Are you considering, though, to grow the community, because you're at 450, but how do you grow the community? So are you considering like more pop-ups? Like I could see this being a very, like people really, really being like, when's the next one? Like I want to be there versus we're coming out of COVID, into COVID. We don't know where we are with COVID.
Yeah.
And the idea of being in person, but it sounds like you could create something really magical in a bunch of different spaces. So are you considering that a growth model to the end result?
Absolutely, yeah. So during the pandemic, we pivoted to provide virtual programming. So that was how we got started. When the vaccines became available and it was safer for us to gather together in person, that's when we launched our pop-up model. I think it is very reasonable to continue doing pop-ups to grow the community in person. Folks really are ready to reconnect. So popping up is a way to do that. But we also want to gather more data on if people are ready and how many folks are willing to buy into a monthly membership, right? Because it is a long-term membership that we're seeking. We want folks to join us for a year, 2 years, to really be part of the space and get the most they can out of the relationships with the folks that are also in that space. So our growth would be absolutely continue to do some pop-ups while we're looking to secure this permanent space, starting small and then again moving into another space.
Thank you. Byron?
Thank you for sharing this. Love the idea. Thinking about the scale of your business and how you scale the business. Obviously, it's very real estate oriented, right? And finding space and then scaling that. How do you see the business doing it? Do you look at DC being your hub and you scale here in this geography, or doing it nationally, regionally, et cetera? If you can walk us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. DC is my home, and I definitely want to start here and grow here. So I think the next step after that would be a regional approach. For example, in Baltimore, there's also no co-working space specifically for women of color. I was actually in the city a few weeks ago, was trying to find a space to do some co-working while I was there, and I couldn't find a Black-owned space that was open. So that's absolutely, that would be our next step, Baltimore and other places where there's opportunity, right? where there's a market, a demographic of Black women and women of color and femmes of color who are looking for that community. So regionally and then nationally as opportunity provides.
Follow-up question?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think about some of your
yield my time.
competition. Thank you. I think about your competition that might look generally at co-working, like a WeWork, and not specifically at demographics within it. But they do it at scale, right, on a global basis. How do you compete with them in order to offer this profitably as a business and for your investors, but then also affordably for your members when you're competing against some of the largest companies in co-working?
Our focus is on quality, and I firmly believe that folks want that quality, right? WeWork hasn't provided the type of community, the type of environment that is truly supportive of women of color. And so they're gonna come to EPOD A for that. And that's what's gonna help us grow and sustain, beat out the competition, and have that revenue, have the income to then expand into other places.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elizabeth.
Thank you.
To vote, visit Raisify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Up next, we will hear from Laura Thomas, founder and CEO of Effective to Great Education. Welcome to the stage, Laura.
Hello, my name is Laura Thomas. I am the founder and CEO of Effective to Great Education. We develop social emotional learning management technology to elevate social emotional well-being and advance education equity and social impact. I experienced heavy trauma early in life. And at the age of 13, over a course of 5 years, from 8th grade to 12th grade, I established daily practices to help me set myself up for success, to basically utilizing skills that we call today or know today as social emotional learning. These skills enabled me to not only graduate with honors from high school, but to also graduate from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, as well as Brown University. These skills also made me aware that social emotional learning tools are not only just geared to support my academics, but also support my navigation through life. We at Effective to Great Education leverage social emotional learning by co-designing our tools with underserved school communities to elevate healthy self-discipline practices, normalize mental health education, as well as amplify social emotional well-being across underserved school communities. We're doing this work because the national average counselor to student ratio is 1 to 444. This is a major gap within our educational system. And we see our schools ultimately circumventing this issue by relying on exclusionary discipline practices. This is when we take a child out of the classroom or out of the school due to trivial infractions. These practices tend to disproportionately impact our Black and brown students, ultimately putting them on what we call today the school to prison pipeline. Our solution is our learning management systems, which we support our learners, our educators, and our families. We have been designing and testing our solutions, and our emerging products are stemming around our curriculum. And we've been doing this since 2017 across 3 school programs, over 50 students, over 45 sessions, and we're ready to take our product to market because our demand signals from our parents, teachers, educators, and schools are telling us that we need to bring our curriculum to scale. So we're going to do that by digitizing it and selling it to schools, districts, and educators, and basically bringing a value of cultural trauma-informed SEL that is also culturally responsive, and we know that it is going to be effective for our most underserved school communities because we have already, we've already tested it and we designed it with them. I have a background in education policy as well as a background in project management. And I am working with our CTO, who also has an experienced technologist. He has over 10 years of building apps and platforms. So we are taking our product to market by raising $300,000 to hire a team, acquire customers, as well as develop our product. We're seeking support from our from introductions to managing directors, as well as managing directors of schools, alternative programming, as well as our charter management organizations. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Laura. Excellent. I won't start out with a question. I will start out with a thank you. Thank you for this vision. Thank you for using your lived experience to help birth something that is really necessary. And I am just here cheering you on and looking forward to how this will continue to make an impact because we need it. Byron, should we start with you?
Thanks, Laura. Loved the idea from the first time I heard it earlier in the year. And one of the things that comes to mind is you mentioned the 3 areas that you plan to apply the capital that you're raising, and one was customer acquisition. If you can give us an idea for how much you think it costs to acquire a customer, and then also just as everyone has gotten the scale question, right? How big do you want this to be? Kind of in the next couple of years, how big do you think this can be if you achieve your customer acquisition goals? From a revenue perspective?
That's a great question. When it comes to scaling mindfulness labs, we see like our range of subscriptions. We're going to be selling it as subscriptions and licensing to schools and to school districts, and then subscriptions for educators. So with a range of starting at our subscriptions for individual educators at $45 a month, to our subscriptions going up to, actually with school districts, $450,000. So if we are able to wage between, or get a range between 50,000 of individual schools and districts combined, we see that range being anywhere between 400 and actually 450,000 to up to $25 million. I have to check those numbers, but the other question you brought to mind is that how are we going to acquire our customers? And we are, of course, in beta. We've designed our tools, so this is a this will be a test point for us in terms of how much it will cost, but we've allocated some dollars to set up a marketing campaign to really get the word out there, beef up our content and our website, which we are putting, and then also hire a sales team. So we'll be able to gauge once we start selling how much because we're pre-revenue. So
awesome.
Thank you.
Shelley, any follow-on or new questions for Laura?
I guess I'm just at what point in my journey do I as a parent recognize that I need this?
Wow.
I get why it's great, but like at what point as a parent or as a professional do you say, ooh, I need to go get effective to great education. Like, how does that even register in?
Yeah, there's many different ways. It depends on how your child is performing at school. Most of the time, parents are addressed by someone in the school regarding their child's behavior or struggles or so forth. And those are the students that tend to be squeaking the loudest, who actually, it's obvious that they have a need. You also have your children who may be more introverted or not sharing and kind of fall behind. So our tools are helping parents and educators be able to assess how their child is doing emotionally behind the scenes, so they can have a daily track and be able to reach all of their kids and not miss anyone, as that so often happens.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much, Laura. It's great to hear from you. We're going to welcome another fellow in the cohort.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Laura.
To vote, visit Raisify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Next up on the stage, we will welcome Jasmine Hennett, who is founder and CEO of Sojo Signal.
Working in corporate America, I never stayed at a job for more than 2 years. And my parents call me the typical millennial job hopper, which is annoying, by the way. But I always left because after I signed the dotted line, I always experienced a different company than what was sold to me during the interview process. And this made me feel undervalued, misaligned, and honestly a little self-conscious, because I always felt like I was the problem. But this is a common issue. In actuality, diverse employees leave the workforce 3.5 times faster than other groups. And as an HR manager and recruiter, I noticed that there's a lack of transparency in the interview process. And this actually results in a $32 billion loss in the US due to turnover alone. So I decided to create the solution, and that's Sojo Signal. So Sojo Signal is a digital platform that helps inclusive companies communicate with diverse candidates. We work with hiring managers to to facilitate videos so that they can communicate what's happening actually in their companies. And with that, as a result, we actually help them onboard employees who are more productive and more innovative. Our difference is that we focus on diversity, equity, inclusion. We ask questions such as, what is your approach to understanding the perspective of colleagues from different backgrounds? And this is actually a $24 billion market, and 50% of recruiters agree that misalignment of values actually diminishes productivity, and it actually results in an $800 billion loss in the global diverse talent in terms of turnover. Our revenue model includes a software as a service, diversity, equity, inclusion consulting, as well as a job board. And in terms of traction, we have hundreds of folks in our talent community. We also have multiple partnerships with professional organizations, university career centers, and nonprofits that cater to diverse candidates. And within the last 6 months, we also generated revenue of $30,000. Our ask is for $450,000, and with that money, we will develop our software. We will also put funds into building our team and marketing, and we would like to work with advisors and have mentorship, and as well as increase our talent community. Thank you.
Awesome. Yay. Thank you so much, Jasmine. As you think of your customer target, like who's the ideal person that you will pitch this to?
So we've pitched this to small to medium-sized businesses, specifically in urban areas who care about inclusivity and diversity.
Awesome. Shelly, questions for Jasmine? And then we'll turn it over to Byron.
Yeah, I'm hiring right now. And so how would I look at, one, where would I find you if you weren't in Halcyon Black Girl Ventures cohort? But where would I find you? And then two, I guess I'm trying to understand like where it is helpful specifically. So hiring, help me understand this. Like give me like a 1, 2, 3, because I'm not sure if I understand exactly where in the process of hiring I would come to you. You know, do I look for you first? Do I have a subscription as an employer? Like, I'm not sure I understand fully how it works.
Yeah, so when you have an open requisition, you would work with us to then create a job posting with us. And then with that, we have a diversity, equity, inclusion facilitator that will go through some of the questions, and that's really our difference. And then from there, we will record videos with you, and those videos will be shown to the candidates who are already kind of going through the pipeline. And then with that, it really helps inform them of really what's going on within the organization, and then that's where the productivity increases, as well as the innovation of those newly onboarded employees.
Okay, so it's like a reverse pitch almost.
Yeah.
Got it.
It also sounds like a really interesting way to retain and kind of help build morale for a very new employee as well. Byron?
So curious, I didn't hear you talk about large corporations, and so tell us about that target market, if it is, and if it's not, why not?
Yeah, it's not a goal as of right now. So the $30,000 that we've acquired has been all through our relationships. Myself and my co-founder have combined over 20 years of experience in the HR field. We have partners, and we have relationships with folks who are in staffing agencies, executive search firms, and so really that $30,000 within the last 5 months has just been from people that we know. Large companies, we just feel like they have other things, going on, and that they might use other services. But for right now, with small and medium-sized companies, they typically, their HR managers don't have a lot of bandwidth, and so we know that's something that they need.
To Byron's question and point, though, I would still encourage you to explore. Why? Because some larger companies are required to work with small and medium-sized businesses to source and provide some support, internally. So.
And I'll add, a lot of corporations globally, especially now over the past 9 months, have been focused on improving and increasing the number of diverse partners that they have in all their channels, right? Whether it's paper or recruiting services.
It's a requirement for their supply chain across the board. So I would encourage you to explore that. Thank you so much, Jasmine.
To vote, visit Raisify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
All right, folks. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe this. Time has passed so quickly. We have last, but certainly not least, founder and CEO of The Beambox, Miss Nimi Lolu Fafarowa.
Thank you.
Welcome, Nimi.
Thank you. So I come from a large family of all girls. Beamy, the sister right before me, has always been a girl's girl. I'll never forget 7th grade picture day. I didn't know how to do my makeup. I didn't know how to do my hair. In steps Beamy. She shows me what products I need, how to use them, and why they're right for me. And when I sat down for photo day that day, I felt radiant. So here's the problem. Selecting the right makeup takes time, it takes research, and it takes effort. And the current beauty boxes that exist primarily only create for one demographic. That leaves a lot of customers frustrated and dissatisfied. My name is Mimi Fafora, and I'm the founder of the Beambox. We are a tech-enabled beauty subscription box that provides curated boxes for our people. What we do is we research and test makeup products for diverse skin tones. We then use customer-provided data to curate those personalized beauty boxes. What's remarkable about the Beambox is that we're using machine learning in order to curate these boxes and send them out to the BIPOC community. The box is priced at $39.95. It is filled with a mix of brands that are female-owned, minority-owned, vegan, and cruelty-free. The beauty industry is rapidly growing, but if we want to talk about Black women specifically, we spend $7.5 billion annually on beauty products. And how can we tap into that? With an available market of 12 million, now assuming we only capture 0.1%, that's 120,000 subscribers, and we're charging them $40 a box at 6 boxes per year, we can expect to see $29 million in revenue by December 2027. We are well on our way there. This year, we're expected to see $65,000 in revenue, which is a 300% increase from 2020. We're also incurring in about $5K in revenue, and we have about 300 subscribers. In order to scale and grow, what we need is 300,000, and it is gonna help us design a data modeling process to scale the brand. So this is gonna be spent on the product, on the team, marketing, and of course, operations. A bit about myself, I have a degree in mechanical engineering, but I also work as a tech project manager. So we've been able to build a platform that uses logic-based data and understanding beauty to create the perfect product for our consumers. We stand alone in a really unique market that we are redefining the beauty subscription industry, and we stand as we provide full-size products that are personalized for Black, brown, and Indigenous people of color. Thankfully, the Beambox has been regularly notified in Elle, in Cosmo, Birdie the Skim, and much, much more. So while I can't give everyone access to my sister Beamy, with your help, I would love to share her influence on the world and help other women beam from within. Thank you.
Amazing. And I love the sister lineup. I was like, wow, how do I become a sister? Tell me, how do I find you as a woman of color, a Black woman? How do I find out about the Beambox? Where are you marketing your product?
So we're primarily using digital marketing. We're right now mostly on Facebook. You're probably gonna get an Instagram. After this, you might just get an Instagram or a Facebook ad of us. And we're actually looking into stretching for influencer marketing as well as Pinterest marketing.
Influencer marketing is so powerful these days, changing the whole landscape. Byron?
Thanks, Nimi.
You're gonna buy like 10 beam boxes?
So, no lie, I was looking at an article last night, I think it was Cosmopolitan, that featured of one of the 10, Beambox was one of the top 10. Yes. And I had the same question, well, where do I go for this, right? Because I have a sister, I have a wife, I have girls as well, and so many women in my life that I think would love something like this. My question is, you know, with the global brands, right, that have access to so much capital, and although they've been looking at, they have been looking at the masses, but not very focused on really doing what you're doing, which is personalizing and allowing folks to have the convenience, for one, of getting these products to them, but that are personalized. What if they now deployed their huge purses, right? No pun intended, toward competing with you? How do you think about that? Is that something that you are fearful of, or that you embrace maybe as an exit strategy? How have you thought about that possibility?
Well, if I have to be completely honest, I think I make the difference, me. So a lot of the beauty subscription boxes that you're speaking or referring to, the founders don't have the story and the experience that I have. And in the beauty space specifically, we need Black and brown voices to access that market that has not been accessed for years and years to go. So we have customers who say, I literally canceled my XYZ subscription box to come to yours because you serve what I need.
Great, thank you.
Awesome. Shelly?
Well, I love the box, and I think there's something with the software. So, I mean, you could be the software that they actually adapt to use. I mean, I think that would be an avenue that I would be looking at. But you didn't talk about your costs.
Yeah.
So you talked about it being a $40 box, but like how much are you spending? The box looks beautiful, which also means it could be costly. And so I'm thinking about, how do you lower your margin? So tell me a little bit about like what's the cost from end to end. So the packaging, the box itself, the finding the product, sourcing time, putting them together, and then ship them out to people.
Yeah. So the box specifically itself ranges anywhere between $13 to $16 to source. That includes the packaging, the tissue, the printout, the products that go on the box. And then specifically for working with brands, I take on a lot of that because I think it's important to reintroduce the brands to the importance of providing makeup for darker and deeper skin tones. So I like to call myself I am a beauty influencer, honestly. I call myself a beauty influencer in that I'm changing the narrative that makeup brands have been putting out for the longest time. I hope that answers your question. Does it? Yeah, I'm sorry.
And one more question to add, how are you working with your vendors? Because they too are running businesses, so how's that relationship?
So essentially, the beauty subscription box is technically also a different marketing avenue for them as well. So if they're able to put one product in that their customers can try out and they're hooked on it, they're going back to the brand to buy repeatedly. So often enough, what we try to do is negotiate with our brands to have lower than wholesale prices, which helps us save on cost for the box.
And do they go to the brand to buy, or do they come back to you?
At this point, they do go back to the brand. There are future possibilities of having our online marketplace where they can purchase directly from us, which can include a discounted rate rather than buying directly from the brand. But that is just a possibility avenue.
Well, keep exploring.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nimi.
Thank you.
Congrats.
I look forward to diving into my box.
Yeah, thank you.
To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout. Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there's a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.
Well, everyone, that is our conclusion of our fellow pitches. We are just so grateful to each of them for choosing Halcyon as much as we chose them, and our partners with Shelly and Black Girl Ventures. These amazing judges, Shelly and Byron, thank you so much. You not only brought your perspective, but just your rich, deep knowledge banks, no pun intended, to support these amazing entrepreneurs. We have been working together for the past 9 to 10 months, and we're just so pleased with this partnership and the work that we've been able to do to support the women, because at the end of the day, this is all for the entrepreneurs that we are supporting so that they can continue to rise. As Maria shared earlier, voting is officially opened. It will remain open for the next 48 hours. So please go and show your support, vote, like these ventures pages, like Halcyon and Black Girl Ventures pages. On behalf of all of us, thank you so much for tuning in and for celebrating the extraordinary work of our fellows in partnership with Black Girl Ventures, Halcyon, and Bank of America. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Halcyon. Thank you, Bank of America. This has been amazing. Thank you to all of you for your energy over this entire 9 months. Congratulations to the Halcyon team and the Black Girl Ventures team. Good job, everybody. To vote, visit Razify.co and select today's event. Enter your donation for the pitches you loved and click the donate button to proceed to checkout.
Review and confirm your donation once more by tapping Donate. And finally, key in your payment info to cast your vote. And remember, there is a $5 minimum for your vote to count. Your donation keeps a Black or brown women in business. You are changing the world with Black Girl Ventures.